lesson, you're going to learn about hedges, English language for hedging. When you hear the word hedges, you might think of this, but just as these bushes are a way of protecting or limiting something, language hedges are a way of softening negative information. Answering negative questions in interviews can be difficult, but careful planning and preparation can help you answer them as confidently as all the other questions. English allows you to soften negative information in different ways. We can call the devices we use hedges. You probably already know some of these. Instead of the direct, "Could I have a word with you?" or even stronger, "I want to talk to you," we use, "I was wondering if I could have a word with you." Here, tense and aspect serve to soften the request. Instead of coming out and saying, "We have to talk to him about it," we use this formulation to soften the suggestion. The modal and adverb here soften the statement. But you can also soften a negative experience by sharing how it has helped you grow and strengthen your overall performance. You can also soften a negative simply by being diplomatic or by choosing more positive language. For example, instead of complaining about your job, rephrase your statement into a positive outlook. This shows your professionalism and maturity, which is what the hiring manager is looking for. You heard us talk about the principle of using positive language in the last course. Instead of stating a negative, look at it from the other side and phrase your statement as a positive. This is especially important when you're talking about your previous place of employment. With a simple change in perspective, you turn the negative statement into a positive one. So instead of blaming poor leadership or a bad colleague, focus on the mismatched time and circumstances, or the fact that no one had yet known about a strategy or program that could have made the process easier. Be honest, but do not point fingers. Point to yourself and your growth. Stay professional and diplomatic. Let's hear John talk about his last job.
What do you dislike about your current job?
I actually enjoy a great deal about my current job. They are, however, scaling back on financial IT services, so I'm looking for a greater opportunity for growth.
You didn't feel you had an opportunity at your current job?
I've been extremely grateful for the promotions I've received, and my boss has been great about encouraging me to move forward in IT management. He realizes that the company is moving in a different direction, though, and I can see how that makes sense for them. For myself, however, I'm looking to further advance in the field.
Couldn't you wait a bit to see if a position would open up?
Yeah, that's a good point, but I've been told we're no longer investing in financial services or in healthcare, and these are two areas I really care about. But I understand my current company is repositioning itself to take best advantage of its core strengths. For me, I feel it's best if I move toward a company that suits my passion and interests.
Notice how John reiterated his positive experiences with his current employer. John did not blame his previous employer. Instead, he described the situation and his goals. However, sometimes you'll face a more difficult situation. One of the interview questions you won't look forward to answering is this one. This is the flip side of the question. What qualities do you look for in a boss? But you have to be on your best diplomatic behavior if you're asked to describe your boss from hell. Please remember, you will encounter difficult situations and people in any job you ever have. So be sure not to personalize the answers. Hiring managers want to hear that you can tolerate, handle, and deal with difficult situations. After all, their goal is to make sure that you are the best fit for the job. Let's listen to John respond to this question.
Early in my career, I worked for an extremely demanding boss who would intimidate and upset a lot of people. Many people in the company feared him, even hated him. He would erupt into fits of rage if something went wrong. However, I always got along well with him. And as I look back on this experience, I realized that the reason we got along is because I did my job well. I appreciated that he demanded excellence. He didn't have occasion to chastise me, and he appreciated the problem-solving skills that I demonstrated. I also discovered that when I looked beyond his tirades and tantrums, he was really trying to do the right thing, and he was honest. For this reason, I didn't take his behavior personally, and I could stand up to him without feeling intimidated. We sure had some lively debates, though. Most of all, I grew from my association with him. Even though I would have preferred a more collaborative approach, still, a mutual respect developed between us that lasts to this day.
What kind of an impact do you think this story would make in an interview? John shows in his response that he can work with demanding managers, that he can stand up to a tough boss, that his management style is more participative. John shows that he learned and grew from his experience, that he's self-confident, solves problems, and gets results. Now, maybe the reason you are asked this question is because the interviewer knows something about the position or boss you'd be working with that could make the relationship challenging. You might be facing a tough boss or a difficult situation, perhaps a turnaround at a large division or a startup operation of a great company that is experiencing short-term headaches and problems. If you're not ready for this, then the difficult boss question might be a red flag for you. Maybe you're asking this question. It could be the case if you're early in your career. If you're in mid-career, maybe you've been lucky so far and all your bosses have been angels. However, if you're 15 to 20 years into your career and you lead your interviewer to believe that everything has been peaches and cream with all of your bosses, he or she is going to know you're lying. Ever hear of the 80-20 rule? In this case, 20% of your managers should have been outstanding, 60% average, and 20% lousy. So with 80% of your managers average to below average, someone in the bunch surely has given you a few headaches along the way. Just make sure you keep these words from Mark Twain in mind and answer the question diplomatically.